NFL draft wrapped up over the weekend, and some sort of miracle, the New Orleans Saints managed to take all 9 of their draft selections instead of packaging 5 of them to move up 3 spots for a defensive lineman that doesn't pan out. So that's a good start. They got things moving with Kelvin Banks in the first round, and then might have taken their quarterback of the future in the second round. Louisville's Tyler Shough was a selection, 40th overall. Head up to Louisville. Mark Ennis with 939, the Ville up there in the Bluegrass. Good enough to give us a little bit of time here on this Monday. Mark, we appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me on here.
It is our pleasure. Let's talk about Tyler Shough. I know he wasn't in Louisville for a long time, but he was there for a productive time. So he comes over in the transfer portal. Was it immediately known that he was going to be the starting quarterback?
Yeah, he was identified like that was the guy that Jeff wanted. And I would say that he equally wanted to come to Louisville to play for Jeff for the last year that he had. And I'll say, I've done this for a while. One of the few times I've ever had a transfer that announced he was coming to Louisville, and people at Texas Tech or like the school where he was leaving, like reached out and like, you're going to love this kid, like proactively, very liked where he was. They were sad to see him go, but it was very intentional what he hoped to get done here in Louisville. Wanted to kind of be the finishing school for him. He had one more year. He wanted to show he could stay healthy. He wanted to lead an offense that's very much has a reputation as getting guys ready for the pros, and I think it worked out for him really well.
Tell us about his game. Obviously, injuries are one thing that off the field, but on the field, what did it look like?
Yeah, he's a very level-headed guy. He is a very accurate thrower. And this is not super exciting, but I will say in terms of keeping a team and an offense like on the field, all of the little things, the checkdowns, the right decision, not taking a sack, throwing it away, the dump down, the fourth option is the only guy that's open. It's on the money every time. But don't let anybody fool you. It also will rip it. Like he really does have a strong arm. Decisive decision maker, and doesn't really lock on to anybody. He really would work across the field all year, and he had receivers and tight ends to work with, and was a very, very good decision maker. I think he ended up being even better than everyone was really hoping for.
Look at a quarterback 6'5", 225. There aren't a lot of those that are really good athletes. I mean, Josh Allen comes to mind. He's a freak of nature in the NFL. Yeah. But I heard a number of commentators and analysts talk about Shough's athleticism. What did you see?
Yeah, we didn't, but for good reason. And I'm being mildly sarcastic in saying that. But obviously, Tyler, the whole reason that we're talking about a 25, 26-year-old guy is because he's had an injury history. He's broken his clavicle twice, broke his leg once. And part of like their design for him this year was, I know you can run, but we're not doing any designed runs for you at all. And you could see this year when he broke the pocket, he was not trying to do anything close to running except for when absolutely called upon. But he's a very athletic guy. When the pocket broke down in the Clemson game, he somersaults into the end zone for a touchdown. He can move. They just, I think, were very conservative with him this year. And I think, obviously, in the NFL, I doubt that Kellen Moore's going to be, drawing up a bunch of designed runs for him. But in terms of escaping pressure, but keeping good form and being able to throw on the run, that sort of thing, a very athletic guy.
Talking with Mark Ennis, host Afternoon Drive up in Louisville. Saints added a couple of Louisville Cardinals to their roster over the weekend, Tyler Shough being the one we're talking about right now. How quickly for you, watching him on the field, did you look at him and go, okay, that's an NFL quarterback?
I would say very, very early on. They played Georgia Tech in the third game of the season. In that game, he really played extremely, extremely well. A couple of throws, kind of flat-footed throws that were just absolutely on the money. And then the following week at Notre Dame, I thought he really was just outstanding in the Notre Dame game. And they nearly pulled off that win against Notre Dame. But he had a touchdown pass in the Notre Dame game in particular to Ja'Cory Brooks, kind of very off balance. I'm sure you've seen it by now. But he started to make those kinds of throws relatively routinely from then forward. And that's when you started to realize, like, man, they've really got something here for sure.
Yeah, when I looked at the stat sheet from this season, I knew how good Notre Dame's defense was. When I saw 264 yards and 3 touchdowns, like that's pretty salty there on the road in South Bend. So that certainly stood out, and that sounds like you saw the same thing. Is there anything that you looked at in his game and said that's going to have to get better?
There isn't. I would not say that there's an absolutely glaring weakness. I think what you're worried about with him is just the injury history and him playing conservatively because of it. And again, it's to be clear, these are not lingering issues. He's had terrible luck. Your collarbone twice and your leg. But he came in January. He absolutely had command of the offense by the end of spring, and there was never hesitation that he was going to be the guy head and shoulders above everybody else. And then was fantastic this year. He was excellent this year. I think just confidence, consistency, that sort of thing. He's going to be just fine. And I think, look, you don't draft a guy his age, I think, to sort of bring him along slow. I think you got to be thinking, hey, if we need to call him this guy right away, I think he'll be ready to go.
It's curious to see what the Saints will do at the quarterback spot. Of course, Derek Carr is a huge question mark at this point. That's a whole different story. One more here for you, Mark. We appreciate a little bit of time here on this Monday. Quincy Riley, fourth-rounder cornerback out of Louisville as well. What can you tell us about him?
He is I think you guys will love him. He is just a very aggressive chance taker. I know a lot of New Orleans, Lattimore fans there. Like this, he will go for the ball. He will get you the ball back. He might give up some here and there, but I think on balance, he's worth it. But just tremendous ability to catch the ball, which isn't always there, for defensive backs. It's the reason that they're over there. But he will intercept the ball. Played just phenomenal against some of the best teams and the best quarterbacks that Louisville faced over the years, and is just a real ball hawk. I'll be kind of interested to see where they use him, how they use him, because I think he's pretty versatile for a guy his size. But just a real ball hawk, a real aggressive ball hawk. I think you're gonna like it.
Saints have a lot of holes in the secondary at this point. It was a strength with Lattimore gone, Paulson and Debo gone. They've got some holes to fill, so we'll see if Quincy Riley can find his way in the New Orleans defense. Mark, I know you got a show to get to this afternoon, so we really appreciate some time. Thanks.
Anytime.
He is Mark Ennis up there in Louisville, 939 The Ville and ESPN station, so we appreciate a little bit of time. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.